Right. Well, good evening, everyone, and very warm welcome to another edition of the Transcend webinar series. I think, as most of you know that have worked with Transcend for a little while, one of the areas that we do emphasize is that of networking. And I'm delighted to introduce our webinar facilitator today, Veronica Lee Zamato. Veronica is one of Melbourne's most popular singers, celebrants, MCs, and has been a sought-after addition to many events over her long career. And I use that word long very advisedly, Veronica. Veronica is a respected and energy-driven entertainer who guarantees to make your event, and I certainly encourage you to consider her, something to talk about for all the right reasons, and a time that everyone will remember. But more than that, Veronica is an accomplished business person. And when I first met Veronica at BNI a number of years ago, I was enormously impressed. BNI, for those of you that don't know or not familiar with it, was founded in 1985. It's a global proven business networking organization with around 300,000 members, so certainly a global success story. I have to say that Veronica is an amazing, genuine person, and also who I would call a master networker and connector. She is more than qualified to lead us in our webinar this morning. So please welcome Veronica. Welcome, Veronica.
Oh, thank you. Yay! Thank you. Jeff, what can I say? One of the most favourite people.
Don't worry about saying anything.
One of the most favourite people I've ever had the opportunity to meet, and we keep, reaching out to each other. And I'm so grateful that you trusted me with your audience today. So thank you. What I'd like to encourage everyone to do, if you wouldn't mind, is not to mute. I'd really love this to be interactive. I'd love all of us to be reactive and proactive in our conversation and the way that we're all connecting today. So if you're happy to, and you don't have dogs barking in the background and 100 things going on, unmute. And what I'd also like you to do, if you can, is to be here now. Because if we're present, then we're really going to have an opportunity to connect with each other, and we're not going to miss things. But I also understand that on Zoom, it's very easy to be able to be typing away and kind of one eye over here and one eye over here and talking to someone on the phone and pretending like you're not. And so if you have to do those things, I understand you're working and this is part of your work day. But if you can, be here now and just turn all the other stuff off and let's just be present in each other's presence for the next 90 minutes. That would be fantastic. I would really appreciate it. If I could also for the people who might be watching this after today, ask you to do me a favor, and that is, can we all stand up and just show each other that we're not still wearing our pajamas? Can we do that? All right, here we go. Standing up, no pajamas, I'm in pants. All right, okay, good. Matthew, I'm a bit worried that you're not standing up there, so that's okay. That's okay.
I don't want to embarrass anyone, but
oh, nice. Well, that's beautiful. When we turn up and we get to connect with people, it's really important that we are turning up as ourselves, and it's really important that we're happy to play the game and really play full out. So for all of us that are here, thank you for investing your time and for trusting me through Jeff's recommendation, and thank you, Rod, for allowing me into your world too. But also, anytime that you have the opportunity to connect with someone, it is a gift. And if I can say one thing to you today, before we even start talking about networking, the opportunity to connect with someone and the exchanging of time and energy is a gift. So we cannot take it for granted. So thank you for giving me the gift of your time and attention today. And I hope at the end of this webinar that you would have got some value, because my intention is to give you as much value as I can in the time that we're together. And I'm happy to answer any question that you might have. I'm not here to spruik BNI. I'm a big advocate of it. I bleed red. I've been part of BNI for 14 years, but I am here to give you as much of my information and value as I can. So any questions on the table, and I'm going to ask you please to be patient with me. very, very grateful. One thing I actually want to talk to you today is about networking, but I wanted to clear up what networking actually is for me, to make sure that we're all talking about the exact same the same process. What I was hoping, if we can, is to ask everyone to rename yourselves. So if you could rename yourself, the name that you prefer to be, I've got an echo coming in the back, a name that you prefer to be called, and then also what the business industry is that you are in. So today we're talking about the power of networking, and I guess one of the things that we need to do is clarify what networking is. So if you'd like to put into the chat, or if you feel like you want to just tell me how it is now, if you want to just jump in, what is networking to you? And when you hear the word networking, what does it mean? Because a lot of people have different ideas of what networking is, and some of it is positive, some of it is not so positive. So I'd really be interested in just hearing from a few of you guys as to what you think networking is. Just go for it, anyone.
For me, it's collaborating and collecting ideas from each other within the group.
Yeah, love that. Collaborating. Yep. Anyone else?
Creating the trust with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Support each other.
Yeah, I love that. Building trust, supporting each other, like-minded people. Yep. Anybody else?
I think it's more of a support network as a broader sense too. You know, finding help, getting advice, putting yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So having that support network that you can draw on. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Like today, the fact that I can come and connect with you guys and having all this support for me, that's great. And Annunziata, is that right?
Nancy's fine.
Nancy, thank you.
I couldn't change my name.
That's okay. That's right, Nancy. Annunziata is a beautiful name, but Nancy's easier, so thank you.
No worries.
Anybody else?
Making new friends and just, yeah, broadening connections and collaboration. Yeah. Sort of
I love that. You know, you can meet people and you can become really great friends. So tell me, what we've talked about here is all the really good stuff with networking. What about, if it was really that good, why wouldn't everybody be doing it? What about when you go into a room full of people that you don't know, and you don't know if they're like-minded, you don't know what value they've got to bring you, you don't know if you're going to be friends with them? What kind of networking does that conjure up for you?
Finding out where they come from, what they're doing, business life, the works, and then you can incorporate what you do and start a chain reaction.
Chain reaction. Yep, great. So someone else is speaking there.
Are you asking what are the roadblocks to people not connecting?
No, I'm talking about when you think about networking and you're thinking about going into a room of people that you don't know, and you don't know what's in the room waiting for you. What does that conjure up for you? What thoughts
It can
come
be
to mind?
stressful for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Isn't
can
it?
be stressful. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What else? Why would you go into that room? Yeah,
You're generally going in for something because you're interested in the topic that the room's about. So you're going in to find out some information about it, find out who else is interested, and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, and Nairi, that's a big one. So often all people need is to know that there is a group of people who all have a similar interest gathering in one place, and that's enough for them to just walk through the door and do whatever it takes. So it's really important that when you're looking at networking, that you're finding the right group of people that have got similar interests in that place. You don't know what their intentions are when you walk into a room full of networking, so it's no use thinking about they're not my people, because you don't know if they're your people or not. But that is a really big one. So you find the networking where you find people that have similar interests to you. And by interests, I mean they might be in a similar industry, they might be in business, they might be like this today, all with a similar need to be able to be better at business, do more in business, learn more about business. You might have been referred to go and check out a certain networking group because someone that you know and like and trust has said this would be great for you to be able to add value to you. These are the things that we're looking for when we're looking at networking groups, not necessarily finding your people, because you don't know if they're your people until you actually go in there and give it a go. Rod, are you controlling the slides now? Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Great, thank you. Can we go to the next one? Great, thank you. So why are you here today? So if you wouldn't mind just popping in the chat for me, and if a couple of people actually want to have a chat or just speak out loud, why are you here? What made you come here today? What brought you to this group of people that all had a similar interest?
Well, for me to experience what BNI is about, as I haven't had time to actually physically go out to field, and being in a team environment is another way of actually doing it. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nancy.
To learn other than what you think what networking is. Understand.
Sorry, what was that, Jude?
To understand what others' views and views are about networking.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. Thank you. That's really good. So you know that there's going to be a conversation that might be of interest to you. Yeah, amazing. Anybody else there want to share why they're here today? You could be doing 100 other things. We know that. Why are you here?
To learn and to meet others.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying to learn. Oh, sorry. So you
Yeah,
call
go. No, Fiona, go. Yeah.
Yeah, to learn and to just be exposed to things that people that are in our network, and yeah, just to be open. Really, you just never know. So that's why I was supposed to be here, to connect and learn and be open to what might present.
Fantastic. That is a huge one. You have to be open. You have to be open to whatever's awaiting you on the other side of a networking event. And one of the biggest roadblocks, I'm not sure if that was you, Rod, that asked that before. One of the biggest roadblocks people have is what I call an already always. You already always know what's waiting on the other side of an opportunity for you. I'm not going to go to a networking group because they're not my people, because they're not interested in the things that I've got, because I've got more experience than them, or those people. Has anyone here heard that people who do networking are really desperate for business? Anyone ever heard that? I hear that a lot. I don't need to go networking because only desperados go to networking. And I can tell you now that I network, and I'm with a gamut of business owners that are brand new, just starting to get something started and really excited, to people who are running multi-million dollar businesses. And all of the people that are successful in their business, no matter what part of their business journey, understand the value of networking. They really do. Will you put your hand up if you've taken time out of your business to be here today?
Well, it's part of business.
Great. Thanks, Fiona. So it is. This is part of your business. And this is one thing that we need to understand about networking, that it's not something that you do outside of your business. It's part of your marketing strategy. So that when you think about 90 minutes today, you're not taking 90 minutes out of your business to go and catch up with a group of people and talk about networking. You're actually spending 90 minutes of your day learning, connecting, being open to, meeting people, having conversations with others in business about networking, which is part of your marketing strategy. And I promise you that everyone here today, including myself, are going to take something away. And it may not be from me, but it might be from someone in the room who's asked a question, or someone who's shared part of their own experience. Because that's the beautiful thing. You do not know who you're connecting with in a networking situation. You don't know. And that's where the magic happens, when that openness and your generosity of time, being absolutely present, you do not know what opportunities and what doors are going to open, because you don't know who knows who. And that is the magic. So would you mind changing to the next slide for me? Thank you. So just a little bit about me. So I put a bit of a collage of pictures about me. I'm a singer, celebrant and MC. I've been a singer for almost 40 years. And then celebrant and MC around the last 10. I started out in funeral celebrancy, which, by the way, you don't need any qualifications for. just as a side note, the funeral industry is completely unregulated, which is horrifying, really, when you think about it. But as a celebrant, you certainly don't need any qualifications. But I had a whole bunch of transferable skills that I was able to bring over to that. And then I became a wedding celebrant because I worked with so many couples as their MC over the last 20 or 30 years. And I got the opportunity to get to know them. And when I'm working with them, I'm thinking, oh, I just would have loved to have been able to start the day with you and been there in the morning and built rapport with everyone that was there for your wedding. And then I get to the reception and everyone's dancing and we're all like old friends. So I just wanted to add that to my skill set as well. You know, I am what you see is what you get. You don't get upset. I'm very, very honest. I'm always coming from a place of no harm, and I'm always wanting to do things for the greater good of everybody. And so if you like feedback and you like honest feedback, I'm your girl. If you want someone who's going to support you and be your biggest cheerleader and see your potential more than anybody else, I'm your girl. But for me, if I had to say exactly what I am what Jeff said, I'm just a master connector. I love connecting people using my voice. And whether I'm connecting you and your audience with your message as your MC at your event, whether I'm connecting you with a loved one that's passed away doing a funeral for your family, or whether I'm connecting two people that have fallen in love and, you know, maybe they've gone and had the kids and gone on the holiday and renovated the house and they've just decided they want to tie off the circle, I'm your girl. I just love people. So for me, when I think about networking, I'm not thinking about going into a room of people and grabbing my business card just like a ninja and throwing them around like ninja stars, hoping that they'll get someone, I'm going to get business. I've never, ever thought about that. I've always thought about who can I connect with and who am I going to meet? I mean, I just got so excited at the thought of being here today because I don't know, and I didn't know who I was going to meet on this webinar. And some point, I know there's a couple of people who are familiar to me, at some point we're going to cross paths again. And it's going to be amazing because we're going to, in this 90 minutes that we have, get to know each other. And that's the difference between networking and actually connecting. So when I talk to you today about networking and all the things that that Rod and Jeff have created for you in this webinar, which by the way, I've got my piece of paper here because I want to make sure I tick off all the areas that that they'd advertised to you. I want you to think today as networking as connect working, because that's what I do, connect working. I don't think about networking in the traditional way. And when I talk about BNI, and I will just briefly touch on it later because you'll come across it in your own time and it's not for everyone and everyone's not for BNI. We're very selective. But what we do at BNI really, really well and why it aligns with me in my life is that we connect with people and we just bring together great people who do great business together. So today, as we move through the time we've got together and we talk about networking, I want you to think about connect working because that's where I'm coming from. While the screens are off, I might just share with you a story, if it's okay, about me and my life and a little I guess, example of where networking became really important to me and a bit of a hard lesson that I learned. So if you were with me on the 7th of July in 2007, you would have seen me in the front row of a local funeral parlour looking around at a tiny white coffin. As I sat there and I was heartbroken beyond words, I was holding onto my husband's hand, holding my breath. I don't know if anybody else has lost a loved one, but we both shared the pain of losing our little girl. Her name was Aria and she was only 6.5 weeks old. And I don't for 1 minute want you to say, look, that you're sorry about that. I know you are. I can feel everyone feeling for me, but don't, because she was one of the greatest events and milestones of my life. And we've taken her inside of us. So she's not gone. She's just in a different way with us. I looked around and in that funeral parlour, there were 400 odd people surrounding us. And it was a very tiny funeral parlour for 400 people. And you'll know it. It's next to the Coringal Bowling Court on Cranbourne Road, the Lapine, I think it is. Tobin's, the Tobin brothers. So anyway, I was overwhelmed with the amount of love that I was feeling. And it was so much love surrounding us. It was a bit crazy because she was only 6.5 weeks old, right? It wasn't like we lost a 92-year-old who'd had a whole life of friendships and relationships. She was 6.5 weeks old, but all of those people were there for me. They're absolutely there for me. And there was friends, family, work peers, acquaintances, parents, and teachers from our other kids' schools, colleagues, friends of friends. There were people in the room I didn't even recognise that just wanted to be there for us. And although they'd come to the funeral because they cared about us, they were also there to acknowledge the life of our little 6.5-week-old baby girl. Now, it was in that moment that I couldn't articulate it, but I truly understand the power of connection. I really understood the power of connection. And I wanted to share that with you because when I think about meeting people and connecting with people, I'm thinking about it on a very, very deep level. I'm not thinking about it as, when you go to a wedding and someone brings their +1 and you never meet with them again. It's not that. It's someone was there, and in that room, that energy that was in that room, it was a collective of people who just put me and my husband and my family in the center of their thoughts. For that brief moment, they weren't thinking about their car and left the iron on and what they needed to do at work and all that stuff. They were just there for us. And so when I'm doing a funeral celebration of someone's life or, honouring their life, that's what I'm doing. I'm magnifying that person's life in front of a whole audience of people who are just there for them. And that's what it means to truly be present. And this is important as we move forward today. So all my life, I valued people. I understood what they brought into the world. However, it took me a long time to understand the value of relationships between people. And it's relationships that change your life. Right? It's not just meeting people. So you will go through your life adding people to your database, and you will go through your life collecting names and addresses, and you will go through your life putting your business cards in someone else's hands. But that is not a connection. That is just a meeting. And some people think about networking as collecting these names and addresses, and they've got, this many followers and this many people on their database and this many people on their contact list. I could not give a flying rat if you've got 400,000 people on your database. I will have more success connecting with 100 people that remember my name rather than 600,000 people who I have met and that I have their names on a list. And so that's the difference between networking and connect working. We're actually wanting to make a connection so that a relationship of some description can start. And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm going deep. I'm going straight in, right? So today, I want to get to know you, and I want to get to know you deeply, and I want to form a relationship that you will remember me as someone who was really, truly interested in you and willing to give you everything that I had. So I also remember sitting on the grass. So I want you to think about that person that was sitting in her daughter's funeral, right? And she gets relationships, and she's just overwhelmed at this amazing connection that she's got. And she can't believe that this many people cared about her. And now I want you to think about this version of me, where I was sitting on the grass at Colonial Stadium, and it was a Friday. It was the 17th of March in the year 2000. And I was excited beyond words because I was going to see Barbra Streisand. Does anyone here love Barbra Streisand?
She's good.
Maybe. Okay, I've got to tell you, she was my hero, right? And she's agoraphobic, and she doesn't do live concerts, but she was doing a live concert, and my husband got me a seat on the grass, like 100 yards in front of her. It was wild. I was so excited. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'm there and I'm watching, and all of a sudden the music starts and the band starts coming out, and I see she's got 3 backing vocalists. Now you have to understand, I'm really good at singing. I'm really good at what I do, right? I'm not the best at what I do, but I know what I do, and I do it well. And I was very well known in the industry, and I was reliable. And I would say that at that point in time that people would have put my name in the people that we would go to when you needed a great singer to come in and do something, right? I thought I was it bit and a bit more, right? So anyway, I'm sitting there, and first of all, there is one singer that comes through, which this particular singer is an absolute killer. She's on there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not surprised you got that gig. Oh, you're unbelievable, right? So then the next one comes along, and I'm like, oh yeah, wow, she's doing everything. I know her. We've crossed paths so many times before. The next one comes along, and I look at her, and I've grown horns and a tail, because I'm looking at this singer going, what the beep? What's she doing there? I'm better than her. How did she get the gig singing with Barbra Streisand? I've got steam coming out of my ears, something from like a cartoon. So I stood up. There's thousands of people on the grass, right? My husband's like, he's doing something great for me, right? I stand up And I said, looked at my husband and I said, what the F is she doing up there? Now, I want you to understand what an ugly part of my personality that is. And I own it. We've all got it. All of us here have every single part of a personality that you could want. And we try and keep them at bay. Right? So when you walk into a networking situation and you see someone, you go, oh, that's not my people. I wouldn't hang around with someone like that. Just pull back a second and go, you know something? All of us have the opportunity to maybe be perceived like that. Move forward and get to know people a little bit, give people a chance, because the person that's talking to you today was not a very nice person in that moment. Anyway, my husband's sitting on the ground, he grabbed my hand, he pulled me down to the ground. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you know, that's not fair. I'm way better than her. I mean, what's she done? I've done this, I've done this, I know this person, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, long story short, I did not get the gig because I wasn't a very likable person to work with. I was a perfectionist, which, by the way, is the lowest standard that you can hold yourself to. So if there's anyone here who's a perfectionist and will often say, and you'll know who you are, I'm a perfectionist. That's why I take so long. I'm a perfectionist. I like to get things right. Perfection is unobtainable. You cannot do it. So why hold yourself to such a low standard where you can't get anything done? Why do that to yourself? Just try and do the best that you can possibly do in the moment to make sure that you get stuff done. Yeah? So I was saying all these things and making all these excuses for my behavior, but at the end of the day, I was not likable. Now, the relationships that I had with people knew who I was, but they really didn't want to work with me. And I was one of those people that was high maintenance and very, very difficult. And I didn't understand the power of relationships. I thought that because people knew who I was and I was really good at what I did, that I deserved that gig. And so what I wanted to share with you today is that I'm not someone who's facilitating this with you today because I think I'm really good. I'm someone who has absolutely seen the worst part of my personality, and it did not serve me. Did not serve me. It didn't matter how good I was. And I am good and I am committed and I have done the study and I've got loads of experience, all that kind of stuff. But without relationships, you have nothing in your business, absolutely nothing. People may do business with you once, but if you want them to do it over and over and over again with you, and you want them not to be swayed by going with other people to do the same business that you could do with them, you need to have those relationships and you need to be interested in how you can bring them value. That is the whole power of connect working. It's not about what you can do for me, it's what I can do for you. And I learnt this the hard way. I really did learn this hard way. And so it wasn't until I was sitting in my daughter's funeral, and, you know, like I was a much different person at that point then, because, you know, there's a few milestones like having kids and you realize that it's not, the world doesn't revolve around you. But right now, the person that's talking to you right now, relationships are everything for me. I would rather know that I've got a great relationship with you and you remember my name rather than remembering what I do. I'd rather know that you would call me if you needed something rather than think of me of only calling you when I need something. And that's what people do. And you will find that in your networking experiences, that people will come up to you and they'll talk to you because they'll want to know what you can do for them. And that's okay. That's really okay. You need to be able to give those people your time and be generous with your time and energy, because you just don't know what that relationship will open up to and what it will mean. Rod, thanks. I think we're just 2 slides. Can you just go to the next slide for me? Thank you. All right, I think we've missed a slide, but that's okay. Yeah, okay, so that one. So you'll see in there, there's a lot of different things I do. I MC, I'm a bit crazy. I like to be crazy. I'm myself when I'm on stage. I'm not somebody else. So I don't speak with a plum in my mouth. If you want someone who's going to write, you know, War and Peace, I'm not your girl. I'm the person who's just going to come in and be myself and just make a fuss out of whoever I'm representing. And I just love people. But that one in the middle, I don't know if you can see it there, the like cartoony one with the light coming out, that is something that I created in ChatGPT. I call my ChatGPT Rosie, right? Does anybody else use AI? Yeah, great. Angel, what a beautiful name. Angel, great, thank you. So I am such an advocate for relationships. I will not even take my AI for granted. I say please, I say thank you. I make sure that I speak to Rosie like She's one of my friends and we're working together all the time. And importantly, when AI comes to life, I want to have a relationship with her. Because if they take over the world, I want to make sure that she goes, oh, you know, leave her alone. She's my friend, right? So I am really, really serious about relationships. So be nice to your AI. But I said to Rosie, I said, oh, Rosie, I have this vision of myself and I want to be able to go and lead the way and light the way for people. And this is what I'm doing. And by the way, I want to feel like I'm really fit and I want to be back to my normal weight and I want my hair long and I want to look healthy and I want to be looking up and I want the source, you know, whatever it is, God, the universe, whatever. I want the source to be working through me because I want that to come out into the world. And that's what she came up with. And I loved it. I loved it. So I want you to know that when I think about myself walking into a room or even presenting to you today, that's the person that I'm thinking about sharing with you. So I want to ask you, would that be something that you could do today? Could you go to your AI and say to your AI, can you create me an image of, and really make it beautiful with lots and lots of detail, and just have this picture in your mind, this vision of your mind of how you want to be seen in the world, not just looked at, but seen. How do you want people to see you and remember you? Because you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. And the biggest tool that you've got in your arsenal is your smile. So when you walk into any networking event, and I want you to walk into any networking event, don't close yourself off to thinking that you know who's on the other side. Have a really open mind. Walk in, generously giving your time and your attention and all of your energy to finding out who's on the other side. I want you to have a vision of who that person looks like and how that person and you want to be seen. And then I want you to smile. Because you know what smiling does? Any guesses? Come on, unmute. What does smiling do?
Releases all the good hormones.
Yes. Fiona, what do you do? What's your industry?
Photographer and a writer.
Okay, great, beautiful. So what hormones? Do you know, oh, not hormones, what chemicals?
Endorphins and all those
Yeah.
dopamine, probably.
Serotonin,
Serotonin.
endorphin, and the other one is dopamine. Because dopamine gets you really relaxed, right? So who here doesn't like public speaking? Angel, I don't think I can see everyone. Hang on, I need to move this little cursor over a little bit and see everyone. Okay, who doesn't like public speaking? Pop your hand up if you're not a fan of it. Great. Matthew. All right, great. So this is what I can tell you about public speaking. Jerry Seinfeld said it best, if you haven't heard it before, that people would often rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. Yeah, public speaking is a big phobia. But all you need to do is smile. If you smile at someone, don't worry, it completely disarms them. Absolutely disarms them. But it will just, in you, bring out all the endorphins, all the serotonin, all the dopamine, and it will just relax you in that split second. But I'm not talking about a nice little, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, bring it on. Like that. Even if you look crazy, and you probably will look crazy, but you know who they'll remember? They'll remember the crazy smiling girl. Because if you don't smile, who has had the opportunity to actually walk in and meet someone and you smile at them and they go, anyone who's seen that? I feel so sorry for those people. I'm like, what's going on? And then I have to think to myself, well, hang on, maybe they're having face paralysis. Maybe they can't actually smile. You know, it's got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But for the most part, people don't know how to connect with someone. I was in a cafe the other day, sitting there doing some work, and a guy came in, and I reckon he would have been maybe. So I'm 30. I'm 53. I was going to say I was 35, but I'm not. I'm 53, right? And I was sitting in this cafe, and I reckon this maybe, let's say, early 40s guy walked in, and he walked in, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he smiled, and I'm not kidding. I almost fell into his face. His smile. Have you ever heard of love at first sight? Right? It wasn't that, because I am madly in love with my husband, right? I wake up every day and, you know, he's all right on the eye too, I've got to tell you. I love this guy that I married, but this guy walked in and I didn't see anything else but just this smile. And in that moment, I thought, oh my God, that's all we needed to do. Didn't know anything about this guy. And look at me, I'm still talking about him 2 weeks later. So you have that in your arsenal of tools to not only help you in those situations where you're thinking about, I don't want to meet people, I'm a bit scared and I don't know anybody and what will they think of me? Don't worry about all of that. Get Rosie to create you a picture of how you want to be seen. Have that image in your head, and all you need to do is smile. And the moment you smile at someone, you're going to be able to gauge whether they're approachable or not approachable. Sometimes it's not up to you. If someone doesn't want to talk to you, don't push it. That's okay. But sometimes you'll smile at someone and they'll smile back, and it'll just be that moment that will change their life and make them more comfortable in that moment. And you are just generously giving. You don't have to worry about what you look like. Don't make it about you. You're really not that interesting, I've got to tell you. We really aren't that interesting. But if we can be interested in other people, that makes us very valuable. So I want you to be interesting to others by being interested in others. Yeah? Be curious, be open. Thanks, Rod. Can you go to the next slide for me? We're moving through. Thank you. So when we think about networking, we know what it is. We know that we can have networking experiences that aren't always positive. But what we do know is that today, for the purpose of us spending time together, we are connect working. 19-year-old son going to work. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about why networking is important to your business. So anyone at all, why is it important to your business?
People are important, like people, people, so that we are broadening our horizons and can collaborate, share ideas. I mean, networking is all about the people. So people is key.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, without people, we've got no business. No, we've got no business without people. Anybody else?
To me, it's more awareness of your brand.
So more awareness of your brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So B&I, we've got a saying called VCP, which I'll talk about in a moment. It's visibility, profitability, visibility, credibility, and profitability. And being seen is really important. So what's more important, your brand or you representing your brand?
Oh, me.
Absolutely. So you can wear all the t-shirts in the world and have all the swag with your branding all over it. It means nothing unless people know who you are representing that brand. Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in as why networking is important?
As a small business owner, you do need people to support you.
Yeah, absolutely.
To and to discuss what you want.
That is so huge, Jude, because if you don't have a support network, I get really lonely in my business. I work on my own, and if I am someone who operates out of urgency, so let me just paint a picture of what that means. Emails need to be done. I won't open my emails because the moment I see them, I cannot unsee them. So I will get up and I will say, so I was going to have my breakfast because I needed to make sure there's something in my tummy so that I do great work for the day. And then I will think, something, I'll just go and fold the laundry because if my house is tidy, my head's tidy. And then I'll sit at my desk and go, there's a bit of dust on my desk. I'll remove everything and I'll just wipe the desk because I might want to make sure I've got a clean desk before I even start work. And then I'll think, something, I better just make that phone call to my girlfriend and make sure she's okay because she wasn't well yesterday. So that way I'm clearing out all that really important stuff out of my head because I need to be completely present for those emails. Then I'll notice that, I haven't watched that Netflix series that I was binging last night. So you know what I'll do? I'll just sit on and have a cup of tea because I've worked really, really hard all week. I'm going to sit and watch a cup of tea and I'm going to do all of that. And then I will just pitter out my whole day. And then when finally I get onto the emails, I am like a beast. And when I am on it. I will get through that work and I will get it done. But I am very easily distracted. And if I don't have a group of people holding me accountable and supporting me, I am lost. And without that group of people supporting me and keeping me accountable, my business would not thrive. So, Jude, it's not just about support, it's about accountability. It's about having that group of people that can keep you accountable. Turning up to a networking event may just be something in your calendar, but actually turning up to an event is something that you're going to be expected to do. People are waiting for you. So it's really important that you go and you do it. You do it as part of your business. and you create that network of people who can support you and keep you accountable. Anything else that we'd like to add to that about why networking is important?
I feel like there's also that element of the, you know, sort of the what you don't know, you don't know. Like, you know, when you sort of open yourself to that, meeting others, and I don't know, it's that element of surprise too, or joy or connection that if you were just on your own, which many of us are, working as sole traders or business owners, you can kind of get into that. Well, I can get into that rut sometimes. So just in the networking and going out, it's just that, I suppose it's practicing being open and practicing all the things that you've said too, and maybe getting better.
Yeah, it's huge. Just that sense of curiosity and what if? Who am I going to meet today? Who am I going to help today? Right? I get goosebumps thinking about it. I love it. That's fantastic. What about Angel? What industry are you in?
I'm a feng shui consultant, so I'm in sort of the designing of homes to help them support the occupant better.
Oh, I love that. I love it. So how often would you get together with other feng shui consultants and talk about your business and your challenges in business, maybe ideas that you've got, things that you can do better, that you're looking for more information? How often do you get together with other people in your industry
We
to do that?
have a monthly webinar talking about like advancements in the industry or things that are popping up in this certain time period to be aware of. Not so much the business side of it, more the theory side. And then I have a friend who I call once a week, and we just talk about our clients and like case studies of how to do the consultation better. So and sometimes we talk about business if that's something on our mind, but
Yeah.
I think I am a very theory-based person, so I think the events I'm naturally drawn to are very theory-based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So your network is actually there to help you talk about business, learn new things, which is interesting because you're in the industry of actually being in a physical space, and yet you're
Yes.
networking online.
Yeah.
So going
Yeah.
to a physical networking group is actually going to be great for you, because if I met you in a networking room, I'd be saying, Angel, looking at this room, what could they do better to improve the feng shui here? And so this is a way, not only in networking are we able to get together with people in our industry and swap ideas and you know, talk about ways of improving each other's businesses, but we're also able to show off what we do. We're also able to demonstrate some of the things that we do. One of the other things, pardon?
No, that's fine. I was just being a good girl and getting to my database.
Is that someone talking to me, or is that?
No, that was all. I was just saying hi.
All right. So the other thing that we need to think about too is competition. How often do you get
Depending
involved?
on which training area you want, Nabathong is the closest training area.
Rod, would you mind just muting whoever that is?
Hour and 15. And my style Ballarat's the other direction that's going west. That's about 2 hours from the city.
Hello. So when you're in a networking event, you can meet with your competitors. Now, did you know that the Latin meaning, the root of the word competition, actually means to conspire with each other, not against each other, but with each other. So if you think about two people practicing sword fighting back in the day, so we're competing against each other, but I'm conspiring. I'm going to do my best to win. That's going to help you improve, and you're going to do your best to win, and that's going to help me improve. When you're networking with people in your industry, there's no competition. You're actually collaborating and you're conspiring with each other to improve each other's services, make each other better. And imagine if you had the trust within your networking organization to walk up to one of your so-called competitors and say, I'm really struggling with my time management with my clients. And they turn around and say, well, why don't you try this? Because that really helps me. Imagine if there was that amount of trust and intention to help each other and lift each other up, and the sense of community around our industry, that we weren't worried about what you're going to take away from me. We could actually have this abundance mentality. There's so much to go around. And imagine if, for example, I was a feng shui consultant and I couldn't help that client that came to me and I said, do you know something? I know someone who I really trust who would just be the perfect person specializing in what you need. Can I introduce you to Angel? Would that be okay? Imagine that. So networking isn't just about being in a room full of people. It's about the opportunities to build trust through those relationships. And then those relationships are going to turn into referrals. And this is one of the big reasons why networking is important to your business. It's not just being in a room full of people and having that support and that connection and having people to keep you accountable in business and help you not be lonely. There's a massive ability for you to be able to get referrals and make more money. Now, there's two things that we are not taught in any business school. Any business school. It doesn't matter whether you go to Harvard or you go to Chisholm TAFE in Frankston. They don't teach you two things. And I don't know whether Jeff and Rod have covered this off either. No one teaches you how to self-promote, okay? No one teaches you to go out there and say, I am really good at what I do. Because in Australia, we don't mean to. We call it the tall poppy syndrome. We don't mean to pull people down. It's just our way of reacting to, I don't feel confident when I'm down here. So if I bring everyone down to my level, then I'm going to feel like I fit in. And it's an unconscious thing that we do. But when you've got a supportive, collaborative, trusting community where you can turn around and, you know, Jeff will say nice things about me and I'm so grateful. And I believe what Jeff says about me because I trust Jeff so much that if Jeff says, Veronica's really good, I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, don't say that, Jeff. No, don't say that. I'm going to say, thanks, Jeff. Thank you, because I trust everything that comes out of your mouth. That's how much I trust you. So if you're saying that about me, thank you. Right? So we're not taught how to self-promote in a way that isn't arrogant, in a way that doesn't make people feel like we want to pull them down and say that, you know, she talks about herself all the time, but just this real, authentic way of saying, I believe in myself and I've got a group of people around me who believe and trust in me too. The second thing we're not taught how to do is how to ask for money. We get told, I know Angel's laughing, right? How true is that? I bet there's a whole bunch of you there that would rather pay people money than actually ask for the money that you've earned. And a lot of the time, and Jeff, you might want to chime in on this, a lot of business owners spend time in working out what their cost structures need to be, how much they should be charging, what their packages are. And then once you've got that together, in that moment where someone says, what will that cost? People freeze. Because we are not told how to empoweringly say to someone, if you want to work with me, and I would really love to work with you, this is what the investment is going to be. We're not taught how to do it. And it comes with being around like-minded people who are already trusting you and know your value. That will help you. So networking isn't just about being around the people and the opportunities to get more work. It's about how people are going to empower you to authentically talk yourself up, promote yourself, and ask for the money that you deserve. Ask for your value. But if you don't know your value, it doesn't matter. You are always going to have people owing you money because you will not send that invoice out to say this invoice is overdue and I would really love to resolve this quickly so that our relationship can continue on. We're just not shown how to do it. So you guys are in a really, really privileged position where you've got great coaches who want to help you through your business journey, but networking is just a part of your business that's going to give you so many more tools. And all you need to do is turn up, turn on, and smile. Be open. It's so easy. Networking is so easy as long as you don't make it about you. Yeah. And the moment you start thinking about, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know anybody, you're making it about you. If you just walked into any room and go, wow, what's happening here? I wonder who's on the other side. I wonder who I can help today. Yeah. Be interested. Don't be interesting. Change your focus on other people. Can we just go to the next slide? Thanks, Rod. We're going to fly through these. Okay, VCP, visibility. You've got to be seen. You need to turn up to these networking events. Networking happens everywhere. Happens at the school canteen. happens at the BNI business meetings, happens on these webinars, happens down the park when you're doing PT, happens in the shopping centre when you've caught up with the people in a line waiting to pay for your shopping. You can be networking anywhere if you're connect working. Just connect, connect, connect. Has anyone here had an example of a time they've just met someone spontaneously and something amazing has happened? Go, Angel.
I got a job once from that. I went into the city and I have a favorite perfume store, and I ended up talking to the owner for 2 hours. And then by the end of it, she said, if you ever want a job, Angel, you're very welcome to come here and work. So I worked there for a while, and yeah, that she really taught me how to sell as well. So it was a really good relationship.
Wow. I love stories like that. Anybody else have an example of that? Where you've connected with someone just randomly and something amazing has happened?
I connected with an open water swimming group in Wales, and we'd been, talking on Instagram for months and months, probably over a year. And then when I had a recent trip over to the UK, I actually met them all and swam with them, which was really beautiful. And
Wow.
So that was sort of a random connection on Instagram, which formed into a relationship, which then led to us meeting in person and enjoying time together there, which is, it was quite unexpected.
Amazing. I love it. Be open to the magic, because when you do these things and you're curious about people and you just turn up, put on a big smile, amazing things happen. Just be open to it. You don't know where it's going to come from. So visibility, be seen. Be seen as the person that you want to appear as in the world. But don't worry about being looked at. It's two very different things. Credibility is trust. And credibility comes when you do things for others. When you turn up and it's a what's in it for me, people can feel that energy. They feel like they're being depleted. They feel like you want something from them. It's like when you walk into a car dealership, and my son's a car salesman. I'm hoping he's a different car salesman than some of the ones that I've encountered. But you walk into a car yard and you're too scared to look at a car because someone's going to come up and not just give you an opportunity to have a look at it. The best experiences I've ever had is when I walk into a shop and someone turns around and says, I'm here. When you're ready, just let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the space. I love it. Thank you. You're giving me something. You're giving me some freedom to have a look at what you've got. Yeah, you're not trying to get something from me straight away. And the ones that turn up and have been told engage in conversation, no, that's not the way that you build trust with someone. The way to build trust is to give something first. Give something first. You have to work out what that is, what your unique difference is, what your magic is. Give some of that first. For me, it's my smile and my energy. I'm going to give it to you. If you've given me nothing, I don't expect anything in return. But you work out what you're going to give. And the second one is profitability. How can we monetize these relationships? Now, people don't like to talk about money. Is there anyone here who gets awkward talking about money? Angel. All right, I can't see everybody, but I know, I can feel it. I work with 500 odd business owners every single week, and I can tell you that the majority of them do not like asking for money. They don't like to be the person who says they're doing things for money. None of you here, I promise you, pay your bills with good vibes. None of you. If you've got a bank that you can go and pay with hugs and smiles, let me know. I want to borrow some money. All right? We need to accept the fact everything we do in our business has to be monetized. Yeah? Because when I earn money, that means I can come and give my time and invest my time into things like this. When I earn money, I can take my children on a holiday. When I earn money, I can pay for my private health insurance so when I get sick. When I've got money, I can take people out on an outing somewhere. I can give money back to charity. I've got all of these things that I can do when I am earning money. And if you know your value, people will exchange value for money. They will do that. But you have to give them something first. So be seen the way that you want to be seen, not just looked at, be seen. Be trusted. Give something back to people before you ask for anything in return. And then understand that you need to monetize it in some way. Now, it may not come from the person that you've spent time with, but the universe will bring it back. But be okay with the fact that you need to earn money. Your business does not run on good feelings. And it is okay to do great work and give value to someone and for them to give you value back. It is okay. I'm giving you permission. All right. So can we go to the next slide? Is Rod still there? Thank you. All right. We're going to run through these really quickly. So 91% of people, this is a Deloitte survey that was done, referrals are the most effective lead generator. Now, if you've got relationships and people trust you, it will turn into referrals. Not straight away, maybe not the person that you've built the relationship with, but they will tell people about you if they trust you, okay? So you can see there, it's not a very clear slide, but referrals are way ahead of any other type of marketing that you can do, all right? Referrals come from trusted relationships. Relationships are built through networking, connect working. If you don't want to do networking, you're going to be doing things the hard way in your business, and it's not going to be as fun. I promise you that. Can we go to the next slide, thanks? Building relationships, next slide. Okay, this is another study. If you want to make friends with people, business doesn't come from liking people, okay? So people think that you've got to know people, like people, and trust people in order to do business. You don't. You need to know someone and you need to trust them. So if you had a cardiologist, if you needed to book a cardiologist, I don't know why my thing's turned off there. If you needed to book a cardiologist for an appointment, you wouldn't be worried about whether you like them or not. You wouldn't say, look, let's go and have a game of golf because I want to get to like you. All you'd be looking at is their Google reviews and talking to people about how good they are at what they do, what an expert they are in what they do. So don't worry about building friendships in business. The friendships come when you've got trust. The friendships are a byproduct of the time and the energy that you put into a relationship. Just so you know, it takes 50 hours for someone to go to form a casual relationship. So you can turn up to 50 hours worth of networking meetings, and I can promise you, you won't spend 50 hours with one person. All right? You can take 90 hours to become real friends with someone, and by that I mean that they trust you enough to know your name and to refer you on to people. And then 200 hours to become close friends with people, the people that are so loyal to you that they're only going to be telling everybody about you and helping you with their business. Point of this is that when you think about networking, you need to think about what kind of networking you want to do. If you just want to do social networking, where you just go and you just catch up and have a drink with your local collective, and you might have 15 mortgage brokers and 8 people who do feng shui, and then you might have 15 people who do, bookkeeping. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's just connecting, and that's, feeling like you're part of a community. But if you want to do networking to make money, you need to make sure that you are in a structured networking environment, and an environment that you trust and that aligns with your values. So this is really, really important. So you know that networking is about connecting. You know that it's about just going in and being curious and being interested, not interesting. You know that you have to know very clearly how you want to be seen, not wanting to be looked at. You also know now that networking happens everywhere, and all you need to do is turn up and turn yourself on with a big smile. But the other thing is now, what kind of networking do you want to do? Because you can do things the hard way. If you want it to turn into real dollars, you need to make sure that you are strategically networking in a structured networking environment that is professional. Follow the rules. Go in. Make sure that you are surrounded by people with similar interests. Yeah? And make sure that when you go there, you absolutely give 110%. Don't go in there half turned on. Turn up to do business, not to do work. And this is a big difference, a big differentiation. People turn up to do work. They turn up in their work clothes. They turn up because it feels like it's tiresome and it's a chore and there's time out of their business. Don't do that. Turn up because it's part of your business. It's part of your marketing strategy. Make time for it every single week. And if it turns out to be your biggest client, and it will, your networking in the right environment will be your biggest client, make the time for it. Take it seriously and turn up ready to do business. Thanks, Rod, if you wouldn't mind. Next slide. Okay, there, I'm back. All right. Next one, thank you. All right, so the question is, I'm just going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your strategy for getting referrals in your business? What is your networking strategy? So just shout out a number between 1 and 10.
4.
4.
6.
6.
5.
5.
5.
4.
5.
5. Okay. So when you turn up to a networking event, you need to think of a 10. When you look at what's your strategy overall, it might be 4, 5 or whatever. When you turn up to a networking opportunity, you need to be thinking 10. You cannot be going in going, this is part of my business. You have to walk in as your business and you have to be the 10. Because you need to, and this is really important, you need to be attracting the type of energies and clients that you want to be doing business with. All right? If you walk in at a 4, you're going to attract people at a 4, and those people are probably going to be the people that may not want to spend the money, don't have an abundance mindset, so they still have the scarcity mindset that they can't afford things. They're not looking for value, they're looking at what they can get out of things. And you'll know those, you'll know there are some people, and I've met them before, and they might even be on this webinar, where they just turn up to networking because they want to be in the room to connect with people. But they're not actually turning up when they're in the room. They're just there to get something. If I turn up to enough networking events, I will get enough business because it's a numbers game. It's not a numbers game. It's a relationships game, right? It's a relationships game. Go in at a 10. Give it 100% of everything that you are. Be seen for someone who is just going to light the way for people and offer them so much value, they're not going to worry about how much you charge. And then follow through. Don't be crazy. Don't go in there and put your prices up by 100% because V said I can go in there and ask for more. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is go in, be more, do more, give more, and so that people understand the value of being around you. Right? You have to have 10 in your mind every time you walk into these environments. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And your time is your biggest investment that you can make in anything. Whatever your hourly rate is, 1.5 times that hourly rate is what we're spending together today. That's how much time you are investing into listening to me today. All right. Can I have the next slide? Thank you. We'll go through this really quickly, Rod, if you wouldn't mind, just every couple of seconds. Referrals are, next slide, 4 times higher than any other marketing channel. Next slide.
Oh.
The lifetime value of a referred customer is, next slide, 25% more than other customers. Next slide. A referred in customer, so someone, say for example that Jeff has told someone that they should work with me, that kind of customer has been referred in by someone that they trust. Next slide. Has 37% more retention, meaning that they're going to use me over and over again rather than trying to find someone else the next time they use someone. Next slide. Okay, and that's just basically overall. So 16% better customer value from a referral, 4 times better sales conversion, 25% better lifetime value, and 37% better customer retention. And that is just by building the trust. That's just by that referral being given to you through a relationship. Yeah, not just going into 100 networking groups and getting names and sending out a broadcast. I hate that. I hate getting newsletters from people I don't have a relationship with. I'm like, that's really rude. You just got my business card and put my name down on a list somewhere and you're sending me stuff. You're taking my time and it's really rude. Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah. But I understand that for some people it's a business strategy. I don't like it myself personally. I'd rather give you my time and I'd rather you give me some time and then let's work out if I can't do business with you, but maybe I know someone who can, right? Because every single person in this room knows at least 150 people that they know their name and that they could ring and have a phone conversation with. And I'm not talking about your Facebook friends. I'm talking about people that you actually know, who know your name, not what you do, who know your name. So for every single person in this room, how many people have we got in here? I think about 15, 16. So how many, Jeff?
Yeah, 16.
16, but 16 people in times 150. Who's got a calculator?
$2,400.
2,400.
2,400. So if all of us were in a room together, like physically in a room together, and I give you my business card, we've got 16 business cards each, right? But if I actually had a conversation with you and I turned around and I said, who can I pick on? Who can I pick on? Richard, are you there? Okay. Let's say Irina. Irina,
Yes.
what is it that you do?
Helping businesses with all branding stuff. I'm an interior designer, graphic designer, applying uniform, printing materials. So like it's
Can I give you some feedback?
yes.
Can I give some feedback? You've got such a beautiful smile. I want to talk to you already, but I am so confused right now, right? I don't know which direction to point you in because I know you do so much. Okay, so what I'd like to ask you is, what problem can you solve for me right now that lights you up? Like when you think about solving a particular problem for someone, which problem is it that really lights you up?
It's depending what you need. Okay, you're a business owner. Give me right now one that you need.
So I have 1,000 things that I need. So all of a sudden right now, this is too hard. Yeah?
First thing comes up.
Not being able to get a straight answer. When we're networking, and this is something that we do very well in BNI, we actually consolidate right down. And we have in BNI, we only do one category specialist per industry. So what you actually just explained to me right now, we would have someone who does uniforms, we would have a business coach, we would do someone who does business training. They're all separate categories. So we would have 4 or 5 different people in the room representing all the things that you've just talked about. And the reason we do that is because each one of you knows a minimum of 150 people. Now, if we have a conversation, we're going to find out something, a problem that you can solve really easily that lights you up. And then I'm going to be able to introduce you to my network, which is 150 people, everyone that they know. So this is why it's really important that you would tell me in a networking situation, one thing that you can help me with. Because I want to be able to help you and I want to be able to point you in a direction of someone that I might know and build trust with you. But when it becomes too hard, when I've got to do all the work to be able to explain to you everything about, you know, what I'm doing, just to be able to get a simple answer from you, it's actually feeling like the relationship's going to take too long. Okay. And yet your beautiful smile is probably going to keep me there longer than I would normally, because all I would want to do, it's just so lovely to be in your presence. And this is really, just being able to smile at someone when you talk to them is really, really powerful. But so that would be my feedback to you. Work out, and in business we want to be all things to all people, right? But work out just one thing at each event that you could talk about, not everything. So at this networking event, I'm going to focus on this. And at this networking event, I'm going to focus on that. You could do them all, but just focus on one for each event, because that will make it much easier for you to get around to more people in the room.
My business idea was to take all things that I know and I can give to business to free up space to business owner to have their own sales. Like I can take all the branding stuff for you. For example, you're a singer, you love to sing, but do you know how to do a marketing? Do you know how to do a logo, how to design to yourself a business card, how to where from to bring a banner, where from to have some photo shoots. So I'm organizing all the backup for you to be a sync.
Right. Okay. So, and we'll just do a little bit of a workshop very quickly. So, I would say to you, if you said to me, I can provide you with all the tangible marketing materials that you need for everyone to know who you are and what you do.
Okay.
Yeah. And if then I said, oh, what do you mean by that? Well, everything that you can hold in your hand, your business cards, your banner, your brochures, your flyers, I can make sure that all of that looks so professional so that people understand exactly how good you are at what you do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's now there's something in it for me that I'm seeing the value in that. I'm seeing the value in that. Whereas when you say, well, you know, I can do a whole bunch of things, well, what's your biggest problem right now? As soon as we get into a conversation, most of the people that you meet in networking meetings do not know how to network. So you're going to get one person who does it poorly with another person who does it poorly, and you're going to have this conversation. You're going to walk away thinking, what the hell was that about? I have no idea what that person was saying. Right? But the person that walks up to you and says, yes, I love your business card. I'd love to be able to create a whole package of print collateral for you so that the world would know how amazing you are.
Okay.
Yeah? Can we go to the next slide? Thanks, Lorena. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me just say that with you. Thank you. We're not going to do the challenge because we don't have breakout rooms, but I know that Jeepers Creepers, I can't believe I've spoken so much. But what I would like you to do, maybe just as an aside, is find someone in this group after the webinar today, reach out to them and just spend 2 minutes each getting to know each other. And I want you to just really work with each other, right? Don't ask the usual questions like, you know, what do you do? Okay? Don't walk into a networking situation and ask, what do you do? People already have a stock standard answer. Most of the time it won't be very succinct. Ask questions like, wow, so great to be here. What's the best thing that you love about networking? And it'll throw people. And they're going to turn around and say, oh, actually, I don't really. I had to be here and the alcohol. You just, you know, and then you just kind of slip that off and then you get started off in a bit of an open vibe where it's about having a bit of fun. Put a big smile into it. And then just listen. Just listen. And if you can, because remember, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, listen more than you speak. If you can, most people are thinking about what to say while they're hearing you. They're not really listening to what you're saying. Can we go to the next slide? Thanks, Rod. Okay. And then I want you, after you've got to know each other, I want you to actually, we would have come back and I would have said, what did you learn about that person? Tell me something about that person that nobody knows. And most people will turn around and say, oh, we didn't ask that. We just asked about their business. Because that's what we do in networking. We go straight in for the jugular, the business jugular. Because we're thinking about how can this business help my business? I need a purpose for being here. Don't have a purpose. Just go in there. Be open. Just look for magic. Be the magic, look for magic, because something magical will happen. I promise you. If you just don't worry about being interesting, be interested in everybody else. Next slide, thanks. All right, 2 types of people who network. They're hunters and the farmers. People who go in and they hunt for business. They're what's in it for me. And then you've got the farmers, people who are going in and they're sowing seeds and they're planting and they're walking in and they're just talking to people. Either way, whatever you are, whatever works for you, you need to be strategic about it. You need to have a strategy around it. Okay? In BNI, we see hunters. We see them all the time. They come in, they never join a BNI group. They just keep going to as many meetings as they can. And often they'll say it's because they can't afford it. BNI is less than $30 a week. And that's it, by the way. They'll say they can't afford the time, but then they happen to make meetings at their own leisure. I would say if you can't make the time for me, but you're expecting everyone to turn up for you, how does that work? They would turn around and say BNI doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work, and if you don't put the time in and you don't, it's like going to the gym. You can go have a gym membership and just stand there and bring on the weight loss. It doesn't work like that. You have to go in, you have to use the tools, run the system. And if I go in with my personal trainer and I do what they say, do what they tell me to do, I'm going to get the results. If I go in and I don't do what they tell me to do, I can't say that the gym doesn't work, right? Because the gym is just walls. I didn't work it. And that's what BNI often people will say it doesn't work, and it's because they didn't do what they were asked to do. Next slide, thank you. Connect working is a marathon. It is not a race. It is not a sprint. When you go into networking events, the hunters will get in there, get quick, try and get a quick result, throw the business cards around. That's not what connect working is. Connect working is going in, giving your time, giving your energy, giving your interest, forming relationships, going in deep. You know, I've found out some crazy things about people because people feel like they can actually talk about themselves and not just about what they do. Just go in and tell me something about yourself that nobody here knows, and they'll look at you with like you've got two heads. You know, I've just met you. I know. I'm not going to know anyone that you know. Just tell me. And it's a bit crazy. Like, we have the beautiful relationships, but people remember me as someone who's being a bit crazy and interested. Yeah. Next one. Thanks, Rod. Okay, so building your brand. We've covered a lot of this off. Go in, find your AI, download your Chat GPT, and just give it a name. Please go in there and say, Chat, do you mind if I call you, whatever you want to call it? I'd really love to work together with you on projects. Would that be all right? And when they come back and they say yes, you can pick a voice. I get all these funky voices on there. Rosie sounds like a 45-year-old black man sometimes, and then I've got this little Hawaiian girl comes in. I don't know where they come from, but we have lots of fun. Go in and ask your Rosie to create an image and give her lots of details. Even if it's not who you are right now, talk about how you'd like to be seen and get her to give you an image and hold that in your mind when you work into these. That's your brand. All the other stuff about your business, you've got really great coaches helping you with that stuff. I'm talking about who are you and how do you appear in the world? Are you someone that can be trusted? Are you someone that's reliable, personable, approachable? Are you someone that smiles? Are you someone that is actually not going to suck the life out of me when I speak with you and spend time with you? And you know who I'm talking about. They're the people who walk in, how's your day? Oh, it's terrible. My dog died last week. Business is terrible. I hate the government. Can't believe Trump's got in. This is awful. Look what they're doing on the foreshore of Frankston. Like, I've met people who've got problems for every solution. Like, I want to give you everything I've got, but right now, you know, this is not good. So it's okay to walk away from someone too. Okay, that's for another time. But be open, go in there, and you are your brand. All the other stuff you can work on. It's really important. But understand that you are your brand. You cannot be your business, because if you want something scalable, it can't be all about you. But when you are promoting your business, you are the ambassador. You need to know who you are and how you're going to be seen in the world. Next slide. Thanks, Rod. So it's 10:30. I'm going to leave it with you guys to say, if you're interested in knowing some more about BNI, I'm very, very happy to have a conversation with you about it. I wasn't here today to promote BNI. I'm just here to say to you that connect working is the most fulfilling and fun part of my business. And I make a lot of money from a lot of great relationships that have started with me just being in the right place with the right people and just giving my time and energy. So I hope that you guys have got something from this. I'd love to hear any takeaways or any questions you've got if you've still got time. And if we've got to wrap it up, that's okay too. Would you mind flicking through to the slide with my details on it, Rod? Keep going, be generous, be authentic, be present. And there's my details if you want to take a photo of that. I'd love to have a chat with you. But yeah, thank you for your time and for giving me all of your attention and energy today. Thank you to Jeff and Rod for including me in this beautiful community. And yeah, if you've got any final comments or takeaways, happy to stay on as long as you guys want to.
Monica, thank you.
Thank you.
You certainly lived up to the expectation. In fact, exceeded the expectation. We probably could have gone on for another hour or two, knowing you.
You know me too well.
Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. I think you've reinforced what Rod, Jamie, and all of our advisors talk about with our participants, just the importance of connect working rather than networking. That's new terminology, and certainly we'll be using that. So again, thank you to everybody for taking the time in your business to be with us this morning. Thank you, Veronica, and hope that we see you at one of our events in the future. Thanks again, all. Thank you.
Thanks, Veronica.
Thanks, Veronica.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.